Did you know that just 8,000 years ago, you could have walked from Britain all the way to mainland Europe? No ferry, no tunnel, just a vast, sprawling landscape of hills, rivers, and forests. This wasn't some mythical land like Atlantis. It was a real place, now lost beneath the waves of the North Sea. This is the story of Doggerland. Imagine a time when the world was coming out of the last ice age. Massive ice sheets locked up so much water that sea levels were over 120 meters lower than they are today. Where the cold, gray North Sea now churns, there was a huge, fertile plain connecting what we now call England to Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands. This was Doggerland, the heartland of Stone Age Europe. It wasn't a barren wasteland. Doggerland was a paradise for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. Think of it like a prehistoric Serengeti. Herds of mammoths, woolly rhinos, and giant deer roamed the plains. The rivers were teeming with fish, and the marshlands were a haven for birds. For thousands of years, our ancestors thrived here. They built settlements, hunted with finely crafted tools, and developed a rich culture we're only just beginning to understand. So, how do we know all this? The clues are hiding on the seabed. For centuries, fishermen trawling the North Sea have been pulling up strange things in their nets. Ancient animal bones, prehistoric tools, and even human skulls. One of the most famous finds was a barbed antler point, a spearhead perfectly preserved for over 10,000 years, dredged up from an area called the Doggerbank, which gave this lost land its name. These accidental discoveries were just the beginning. Today, scientists use advanced technology to map this submerged world. They use seismic surveys, the same tech used by oil companies, to create 3D maps of the ancient river valleys, hills, and coastlines hidden beneath layers of sediment. They take core samples from the seabed, pulling up mud that contains ancient pollen, seeds, and even microscopic fossils. By analyzing this evidence, they can reconstruct what Doggerland's environment was like, season by season, millennium by millennium. But this prehistoric Eden was living on borrowed time. As the Ice Age ended and the planet warmed, the massive ice sheets began to melt. Slowly but surely, the sea began to rise. At first, it was a gradual change. What was once a vast plain became a landscape of islands and archipelagos. The people of Doggerland would have had to adapt, moving to higher ground as their hunting grounds slowly flooded. They would have watched the coastline creep closer year after year, generation after generation. Then, disaster struck. Around 6200 BC, a massive underwater landslide off the coast of Norway, known as the Starega Slide, triggered a colossal tsunami. A wall of water, possibly up to 20 meters high, would have smashed into what was left of Doggerland. This single catastrophic event would have devastated the remaining low-lying islands, wiping out entire communities and transforming the landscape in a matter of hours. The final inundation happened quickly after that. Within a few hundred years, the last hilltops of Doggerland disappeared beneath the waves, severing Britain from the continent and creating the island we know today. The memory of this lost world faded, surviving perhaps only in fragmented myths and legends of a great flood. The story of Doggerland is a powerful reminder of how dramatically our planet can change. It's a tale of a lost world and a forgotten people, a civilization swallowed by the sea. But it's also a story of discovery. As modern science pieces together the puzzle of this prehistoric landscape, every bone, every tool, and every grain of pollen brought up from the seabed helps us connect with our distant ancestors and the world they inhabited. Who knows what other secrets are still waiting to be discovered, buried in the dark, cold waters of the North Sea. Thanks so much for watching. If you're fascinated by lost worlds and ancient history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the past. See you next time. Imagine carving gigantic drawings into the earth, so massive they can only be truly seen from high up in the sky. Now, imagine doing this 2,000 years ago, without planes, drones, or even hot air balloons. Welcome to one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, the Nazca Lines of Peru, sprawled across the arid plains of the Nazca Desert. These enormous geoglyphs have baffled scientists and historians for decades. We're talking about hundreds of figures, from simple geometric shapes like triangles and spirals to complex depictions of animals. A spider, a hummingbird with a 300-foot wingspan, a monkey with a curling tail, and even a figure that some call the astronaut. Who created these incredible designs, and more importantly, why? The Nazca people, who thrived in this region from around 100 BCE to 800 CE, are credited with their creation. But how did they achieve such precision on such a massive scale? The technique was surprisingly simple, yet ingenious. They removed the reddish-brown, iron oxide-coated pebbles that cover the desert floor, exposing the lighter-colored earth beneath. Because this region is one of the driest on Earth, with little rain or wind, these lines have been remarkably preserved for centuries. But the how is only part of the puzzle. The bigger question is why? Why create art that you yourself can't fully appreciate from the ground? This is where the theories really take flight. One of the most popular ideas is that the lines were a form of religious expression, giant messages, or offerings to their deities in the sky. Perhaps they were trying to summon the gods, or maybe the figures themselves represented celestial beings. The hummingbird, for example, is a powerful symbol in many Andean cultures, often associated with fertility and life-giving water. Another compelling theory links the lines to astronomy. Some researchers believe the lines acted as a giant astronomical calendar, pointing to the positions of the sun, moon, and stars during important times of the year, like the solstices. This would have been crucial for an agricultural society, helping them track seasons for planting and harvesting. Certain lines seem to align perfectly with constellations or celestial events, lending weight to this fascinating idea. Then there's the water theory. In such a dry environment, water was the most precious resource. Some archaeologists suggest that the lines and figures are connected to ritual pathways or maps, leading to underground water sources, or were used in ceremonies to plead with the gods for rain. The animal figures, like the spider and monkey, are often found in tropical, rainy climates, far from the Nazca Desert. Maybe they were symbols meant to attract the wet, life-sustaining forces of those regions. And of course, we can't ignore the more fringe theories. Erich von Däniken, in his famous book, Chariots of the Gods, proposed that the lines were ancient runways for alien spacecraft. While this idea captured the public imagination, it lacks any real archaeological evidence and is dismissed by mainstream scientists. The craftsmanship, tools, and cultural context all point directly to the indigenous Nazca people. So what's the answer? The truth is, it's likely a combination of these ideas. The Nazca Lines were probably multi-purpose, part religious ritual, part astronomical calendar, and part a desperate plea for water. They represent a complex and sophisticated understanding of both the earth and the sky. Today, you can fly over the Nazca Plains and see these wonders for yourself. They stand as a silent, powerful testament to the ingenuity and spiritual depth of an ancient culture. They are a profound reminder that sometimes the greatest mysteries aren't written in books, but etched into the very surface of our planet, waiting for us to look up and wonder. What do you think? Were they messages for the gods, a giant calendar, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mysteries. Have you ever seen these incredible giant stone heads? They're mysterious, massive, and they come from a civilization that's even more enigmatic, the Olmec. Long before the Maya or the Aztecs, the Olmec were building the first major civilization in Mesoamerica, what we now know as southern Mexico. We're talking way back, from around 1500 to 400 BC. They were pioneers, creating complex societies, impressive cities, and art that still blows our minds today. So who exactly were the Olmec? Think of them as the mother culture of Mesoamerica. They laid the groundwork for many of the civilizations that followed. They likely invented the famous Mesoamerican ball game, practiced bloodletting rituals, and may have even developed one of the first writing systems in the Americas. Their heartland was in the tropical lowlands of south-central Mexico, a land of rivers and lush jungles. It was here, in cities like San Lorenzo and La Venta, that they achieved their greatest feats. Now, let's talk about their most famous legacy, the colossal heads. To date, 17 of these incredible sculptures have been discovered. And when I say colossal, I mean it. The largest one stands almost 11 feet tall and weighs a staggering 50 tons. That's heavier than a semi-truck. Each head is unique, with distinct facial features, expressions, and elaborate headdresses. Most archaeologists believe these are portraits of powerful Olmec rulers, immortalized in stone. Imagine the skill and artistry required to capture an individual's likeness on such a monumental scale. This brings us to the big mystery. How on earth did they do it? The stone itself, a volcanic basalt, wasn't found near their cities. The quarries were located up to 90 miles away in the Tuxtla Mountains. The Olmec didn't have wheels for transport, nor did they have metal tools like iron or bronze. They worked with what they had, stone tools. They would have used harder stones to painstakingly peck, grind, and shape the basalt boulders. This process would have taken an immense amount of time, patience, and incredible skill. But carving is only half the battle. How did they move these multi-ton monoliths across miles of challenging terrain, including swamps and rivers? The leading theory is a combination of brute force and brilliant engineering. They likely used large balsa wood rafts to float the heads down rivers during the wet season when water levels were high. On land, they would have used a system of sledges, rollers, and sheer manpower. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people would have been needed to pull and push these giants into place. It was a massive community effort, a testament to the power and organization of their rulers and society. The Olmec civilization eventually declined around 400 BC for reasons we still don't fully understand. It could have been environmental changes, like rivers shifting course, or perhaps internal conflict. But they didn't just disappear. Their culture, their ideas, and their innovations lived on, influencing great civilizations like the Maya and the Aztecs for centuries to come. These giant stone heads are more than just amazing sculptures. They are silent witnesses to a powerful and sophisticated civilization that shaped the course of history in the Americas. They remind us that there are still so many secrets buried in the past, waiting to be uncovered. What do you think is the most impressive part of the Olmec story? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures into our incredible past. Hey history buffs and mystery lovers. Ever heard of a place that was super important to one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, but we just can't find it? Today, we're diving into the enigma of the Kingdom of Punt, ancient Egypt's legendary and lost trading partner. For over 1,000 years, Egyptian records are filled with tales of epic expeditions to this faraway land. They called it Tanetcher, the land of the god, a place of incredible wealth and exotic wonders. Imagine fleets of Egyptian ships sailing down the Red Sea on a quest for the treasures of Punt. What were they after? We be talking about things that were pure luxury in the ancient world. Fragrant myrrh and frankincense for their temples, shimmering gold, dark ebony wood, exotic animals like giraffes and baboons, and even electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver. These weren't just simple trade goods. They were vital for religious rituals, royal adornment, and displaying the pharaoh's immense power. The most famous expedition was launched by Queen Hatshepsut around 1477 BC. She wasn't just a pharaoh, she was a visionary. Her temple at Deir el-Bahri has these incredible detailed carvings that are like a photo album of the journey to Punt. You can see the Egyptian ships, the strange beehive-shaped houses of the Puntites, their king and queen, and all the amazing goods being loaded for the return trip. It's one of the most vivid accounts we have of ancient international trade. The reliefs show the Egyptians offering weapons and jewelry in exchange for Punt's riches. It was a peaceful, prosperous relationship that benefited both sides. But here's the big question. If this relationship was so important, where on earth was Punt? This is where the real mystery begins. The Egyptian texts give us clues, but no map with an X marking the spot. They mention sailing south, but how far south? Scholars have debated this for centuries. Some theories place Punt on the coast of modern-day Somalia or Djibouti in the Horn of Africa. This area is known for producing myrrh and frankincense, which fits the description perfectly. Others suggest it could be further down the coast in Eritrea, or even across the Red Sea in Yemen on the Arabian Peninsula. The depictions of the people and animals in Hatshepsut's temple have been analyzed over and over. The flora and fauna seem to point towards Africa, but some elements could also match Arabia. It's a geographical puzzle that has stumped archaeologists for generations. So what happened to Punt? Why did this bustling trade suddenly stop around the 11th century BC? The records just go silent. Did the kingdom collapse? Did Egypt's own decline mean they could no longer mount such ambitious expeditions? Maybe the sea routes became too dangerous, or perhaps the climate changed, affecting Punt's precious resources. Without finding the actual location of the kingdom, we can only speculate. It's like a massive chapter of ancient history has been torn out, leaving us with a tantalizing cliffhanger. The search for Punt continues, with archaeologists hoping that one day, a new discovery, a stray artifact, or a sunken ship might finally reveal the location of Egypt's lost land of the god. What do you think? Where was the kingdom of Punt? Let me know your theories down in the comments. It is a fascinating mystery that reminds us just how much of our ancient past is still waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more historical deep dives. See you next time. Deep within the vast, unexplored Amazon rainforest, a legend whispers through the leaves, a story of a lost city, a hidden empire, and a secret that has tantalized explorers for centuries. This is the tale of Akakor, an alleged ancient underground metropolis said to be concealed somewhere between Brazil, Bolivia, and Peru. Is it a real place, or just a myth born from the jungle's enigmatic heart? The story of Akakor was brought to the world's attention by a German journalist named Karl Brugger in his 1976 book, The Chronicle of Akakor. Brugger claimed to have interviewed a man named Tatanka Nara, who presented himself as the chieftain of a mysterious tribe called the Uga-Mangulala. Tatanka Nara spun an incredible tale, an oral history passed down through generations. He described a civilization far older than the Incas, a people who built a network of stone cities, both on the surface and deep underground. According to Tatanka Nara, the Uga-Mangulala were descendants of gods who came from the sky. They built Akakor and its sister city Akahim with advanced technology, creating a sprawling subterranean world to protect themselves from a series of global catastrophes. He spoke of vast archives filled with stone tablets detailing the entire history of humanity, from our creation to a predicted future apocalypse. The entrances to this underground kingdom were said to be camouflaged, known only to the initiated. This story is undeniably captivating. Imagine it, a city beneath the jungle floor, untouched by the modern world, holding the keys to our planet's past and future. It's the stuff of adventure movies. For decades, the legend of Akakor has inspired countless expeditions. Adventurers, archaeologists, and thrill seekers have plunged into the treacherous Amazon, braving venomous snakes, dense foliage, and unforgiving terrain, all searching for a clue, a sign, a doorway to this lost world. But here's where the story takes a dark and mysterious turn. Many who went in search of Akakor with Tatanka Nara as their guide never returned. An American explorer, a Swiss naturalist, and a Swedish tour guide all vanished under mysterious circumstances while in his company. These disappearances cast a long dark shadow over the entire legend. Was Tatanka Nara a genuine chieftain protecting his people's secrets? Or was he something else entirely? German police investigations later revealed a shocking twist. Tatanka Nara was not a native Amazonian chieftain. His real name was Gunther Hawk, a German citizen who had fled his home country in the 1960s to escape criminal charges. This discovery shattered the credibility of his story. The Grand Chronicle of Akakor was now seen by many as an elaborate hoax, a fabrication created by a fugitive to build a new identity and perhaps lure unsuspecting adventurers to their doom. So, is Akakor completely fake? While the messenger, Tatanka Nara, has been thoroughly discredited, the Amazon rainforest itself remains one of the least explored places on Earth. In recent years, satellite technology has revealed evidence of ancient large-scale settlements hidden beneath the canopy, challenging our previous understanding of pre-Columbian civilizations. These discoveries show that complex societies did thrive in the Amazon, building geometric earthworks and roads long before Europeans arrived. Could the legend of Akakor be a distorted echo of a real forgotten history? Perhaps it's not a single underground city, but a network of smaller ancient settlements that inspired the myth. The Amazon is a place of wonder and mystery, and it's still guarding countless secrets. While the tale of Akakor as told by Tatanka Nara is likely a work of fiction, the dream of finding a lost city in the jungle continues to fuel our imagination and our desire to explore the unknown. What do you think? Is there any truth to the legend of Akakor, or is it purely a modern myth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures into the world's greatest mysteries. See you next time.